Thanks for coming tonight for the local peace economy meeting here on May 7th, Wednesday, May 7th. Jody isn't going to be here tonight. She is at a meeting with other CODEPINK members in Chicago. And so we're just going to gather together and have a conversation. And I am looking forward to the conversation. So I was wondering if anybody brought a poem or something that they would like to share that might be a good grounding exercise for the group. And if you would be willing to read it, that would be wonderful. You can just unmic yourself if you have something. Well, if not,
Yeah, I could read something I did on Earth Day recently.
that would be lovely.
Yeah, I just need to grab it. It's right there on my desk.
I've got a peace poem if you'd like.
Okay, and that would be lovely too. We can have both of you.
Should I do it while we're waiting, or
that sounds perfect?
after?
Yes. Well, while we're waiting, that sounds great.
If all life is a dream, is it your dream or mine? And why should our two worlds agree? The answer avails if we're both the divine. At our source, I am you and you're me. Though it seems that we're separate, I trust you'll concur it's a stretch to conceive one great soul. Still, we sense there are times when our boundaries blur, our designs coalesce as one whole. If together we've dreamed up this life, with its flaws and its numberless wonders untold, might we rein back our species to mind nature's laws? Who can say what new worlds will unfold?
You got it?
We might harness the power of resonant thought. We might dream exploitation to cease. Once we own all the battles that e'er man has fought, are we ready to co-create peace? Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Beautiful. And you're such a good reader.
Dominique, do you want to read yours?
Yeah, I'm an artist who does art. In my performance, it's art and activism and heart. And on Earth Day, I did a performance called Tears for the Children of the World. And I had a sign that said, or at least the gist of it, we share our joy for the beauty of the earth. We bear our grief for the escalating wars on the earth. We shed tears for the children of the world, killed, wounded, orphaned, traumatized, starved. So then I continue. 40 years ago, my heart broke when I realized all that was besieging our beautiful earth. From the brokenness, the inspiration came to me to speak on her behalf. My ritual work is art, activism, and heart. Heart makes us come up with our very own form. My two choices, celebrating the beauty of creation, mourning what is being lost or destroyed. And then I had peace, war is not green, which is a CODEPINK thing. Peace, war is not green. Then I had three quotes, very important, I feel. The most radical thing any of us can do at this time is to be fully present to what is happening in the world. This is by Joanna Macy, author and scholar. Then we are afraid of grief, yet grief is an extraordinary portal, by Tom Eddington of Ubiquity University. And then the last one by Lisa Oliveira, a therapist and author. May we use our feelings to push us toward right action. Voila. That's what I did on
Lovely.
Thursday.
Thank you for sharing that. I have a poem. I was going to actually put it in the alert that went, the email that went out on Sunday, this past Sunday. But we decided for various reasons not to include it, but I'm going to read it here. It's by my friend, the poet Drew Dellinger, and it's called Hieroglyphic Stairway. I'm just going to read the first part of it because it's been sort of on my mind lately, this poem and what he is expressing in it. So it reads, "It's 3:23 in the morning, and I'm awake because my great-great-grandchildren won't let me sleep. My great-great-grandchildren ask me in dreams, what did you do when the planet was plundered? What did you do when the earth was unraveling? Surely you did something when the seasons started failing, as the mammals, reptiles, and birds were all dying. Did you fill the streets with protest when democracy was stolen? What did you do once you knew?" He wrote that poem 20 years ago. So um, it has been coming back to me over and over again recently, and then I just thought I would share it. It feels like it needed to be shared. All right.
If you have time, there is a song I can sing.
Oh, that would be great.
Well, you want me to do it now?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. You'll see the music or the it's based on We Shall Overcome. It is on in talking about taking the the We the People amendment to take away the personhood of corporations, and the rest of it is self-explanatory. As you know, corporations are treated in the Constitution as if they were live human beings. And so let me go to that page. We shall unperson. We shall unperson. We shall unperson corporations because we are sane. We do believe corporations are not persons. Money is not a speech. Money is not a speech. Money is not a speech. Get this into your head. Because we are sane, we do believe we shall on dollar a speech. We the people amendment. We the people amendment. We the people shall amend our Constitution, because we are free. We do believe our Constitution is free. Thank you.
Wow. Great.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here that is new, that has never been to one of these meetings before? If so, would you unmic yourself and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for letting me in. My name is Cristina Herencia, and I'm a social psychologist from Peru who is visiting Houston, and I have been away from the U.S. for about 11 years. And now in my return, I'm sort of recognizing how the country has changed and what are the present dilemmas. And my work in Peru has to do with indigenous peoples of the Andes, and also with issues of women, gender issues in general. So that is what and I have been a friend of progressive people, because I studied in the University of Texas, at the University of Texas in Austin. So I'm very happy to have found this connection, and happy to know you. So I'm here to recognize the country, and to visit my daughter who lives here. But possibly I will stay a little longer too. I need to rehash on academic connections, but in general, I am a third world person that is very concerned about relations of the globe, of the northern hemisphere, in particular the United States with Latin America, and right now very concerned about what is going on in the Middle East. But I'm with you guys. Thank you for accepting me in the group. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for introducing yourself very much.
Gracias. Mhm.
Is anybody else new and want to introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm T. I've been on a couple of the calls recently, but haven't really participated because I haven't figured out my audio and video settings properly. But I've got the audio working this time, so we're getting there. But I've really been enjoying, the topics and everything that everybody's been sharing. It's been really inspirational. So looking forward to participating more.
Thanks. Thanks for introducing yourself. I'm glad that your audio is working. Anyone else?
Oh, yes. Hello, I'm Hideki from Okinawa, Japan. I meant to participate in this forum for a long time, but my schedule is sort of in conflict with this this forum. So, but I'm glad that today I'm able to participate in this gathering.
Great. I think you win the award for longest distance traveled, is my guess.
Okay, great. Just a click away, I guess.
Most inconvenient time zone change. Yeah.
No, it's 9 o'clock. Just today, I don't need to work in the morning, so that's
That's good.
good.
Anyone else? All right. So, so at first, Jody and I had a topic set for this, but it turned out that the person that we were wanting to have speak became unavailable. And so we hashed back and forth about a topic that we might do for this evening. And basically, we just came up with, because nothing really seemed to work, we were thwarted at every turn by people not being able to come, people being unavailable, or there were calls that they had to be on another at the exact same time. We came up with the idea that maybe we need to have no topic. So we're just going with the flow. And the no topic topic, I would really love to focus on getting feedback and harvesting from you what you might like to see in this space moving forward. What would be super helpful for you, what you would like to see people talk about, what would you like to see as far as connecting with other people in the local peace economy community, and pretty much anything else, anything that you want to bring to the table, criticisms, like what could we be doing better? If you have questions about the website, or you think that the website could be better, you could let us know that. And I just thought that we could talk about it here, get it recorded, and then that way Jody and I and the team can really harvest it and try and do our best to meet everybody's needs. So I'll just start with the people who raise their hands, and I'll do it in the order that it appears on my screen. Kathleen, you're first.
Yeah, I don't have specific ideas, but I wanted to say that I think you do such a great job, Marie, just making a welcoming space. I'm sorry, it's getting dark where I am here. You can't really see me. You create a very open and spacious welcome. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we want to, Jody and I both really want to make this a place where people can land and feel connected. And, we don't often have communities around us where we live. I know I don't, where we feel like we can be truly our authentic selves in this work and in this path in some ways, because everybody's a critic, right? And so it just feels like a really easeful way to be together every couple of weeks. And I appreciate everybody who comes, and I appreciate each of you here tonight. Lynn?
Yes, thank you so much for your gatherings. It's just so important what you do. I love your service. I put it in the chat. I started a petition on change.org for Legislation Cares Act, paying people to care to stop the warfare systems. And I know as other peacemakers and light workers that are here in Impasse, we're system busters. We came in, I heard way back my story anyway, that I was here to help stop all, help delete and clean up all big pharma's products programs that are related to massive mind control and healthcare only, and to that are also on military killing systems and hate and warfare programs and all drug war programs. We're supposed to actually take and it says in the petition, you take all drug war funds, and those go into, people don't realize it's a massive penal industrial complex built on slavery, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, to take these systems on the petition and put in 3,000 ancient plant medicine, green food, or organic foods, fish farms. I mean, it goes into green civil service systems that go back to really important 3,000 ancient plant medicines for herbs and salves and clean air, clean water, clean food, of course, but also it goes into multicultural body, mind, spirit, alternative healing centers open 24/7 in every community with language apps, because any human who's angry, upset, their answers are inside of them. It might even be a past life or a family constellation counseling they need. And all these healing modalities since 1975, as a registered nurse in Oregon and Canada, all these healing modalities are being thwarted that we need to teach the kids, not all these hate and warring and, the games to kill and all that. You got to focus on the new system. So I'm hoping to get more people talking about it and seeing all the new school systems that we have, interfaith, hand-to-hand, trade schools, mystery schools, Waldorf, Montessori, turnaround art schools with all the arts and music. I mean, playing for change and the beauty of all of our cultures. They're wiping them out. Anyway, so that's what I'm here to help kind of talk about and get information on and see who signs a petition, and if they'd add things to it or can make more like art therapies, music, singing, I have dream therapies and past life therapy, all kinds of therapies that have been thwarted and no one knows about them. So trying to get it grounded into legislation is just like a nightmare. Healing bases open 24/7. That's my main thing. So that's what I wanted to talk about and bring up and start to think about and see if people, could. I mean, there's so many aromatherapies and acutoner and healing touch programs. Stop rape and abuse right there. Soul therapies, stop all the warring. Answers are within. Inner peace police, you could call them, training, for everyone. Pay people to care. And we have 1.45 million 501c3s in our USA. It's incredible. Hey, what do you care about? Go pay them. Basic income, healthcare, place to live. Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Sandy?
There it goes. Hi. So I've been to several of these. I try to make it when I can, maybe make it a little more than half the time. I want to mention, related to what let's see, Lynn talked about in terms of Ohio. I think Kat, you're in Youngstown, Ohio, and I think Marie, you said you were from
Niles, which is
Illinois.
between Warren and Youngstown. Yes.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that Tim Ryan was the congressperson there, and it's part of the Rust Belt, right? I don't
Yes,
know
it's
that
part
area.
of the Rust Belt.
Yeah, anyway, he was a congressperson and he got into meditation and he promoted it in the schools in Youngstown. And it, from what I understand, it's been extremely helpful, extremely effective with kids and such. As far as these get-togethers on Zoom, I appreciate Moji singing a song, and I think art and poetry and songs are really important, and to have a little of that in the get-togethers on Zoom, and also humor. And so something I'm pretty sure I've shared it on some of these Code Pink Zooms in the past, but one of my favorite signs at a protest was around Occupy Wall Street, and the sign said, I'll believe that I'll believe that corporations are people when Texas executes one. So anyway, humor is important on messaging.
Yeah, the humor, I find it to be, especially at protests, the thing that, people's eyes they will just pass over like signs that are super serious. But when you have a humorous one, that stays there, like this one stayed for you, right? It stays in you and kind of does its
Yeah.
magic on the inside. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I saw one the other day that had no words. It just said 86-47. I thought it was quite clever. To be 86 is basically kicked out, right? And Trump
Right.
is the 47th president. So pretty
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah. Kat?
Hello. So good to see you. I was actually gonna talk about what kind of connects what Lynn was saying. Moji has started the idea of Chamber of Compassion, where areas get all sorts of nonprofits and activists together to work on common goals. And it definitely is something, because one thing that happens is activists tend to get too scattered when it does affect things like let's take the Palestine movement. A lot of the agroecologists, the environmentalists, and conservationists don't really get behind it because it's war, as they see it. But war is not green. It's affects everything. We see them killing off the livestock, throwing them into the water systems. We see them white phosphoring the grounds, making it unlivable for humans, plants, animals. It affects more than just the anti-war protesters. And if we bring all of our energies together, we can push forward and do more than when we scatter our interest and have more of a non-connected response to tragedies and needs of our local communities. And that's why I got behind that. I'm also working on another project, which is NDA at the moment, but it's definitely something we need to do, is get more people together to focus on. It's not just an issue like women's rights. It's not just a women's issue. It affects everyone.
Mhm.
And in different ways. And we do need to pull together to fix that. We can't do it separated.
Yeah, pulling together as activists, is it something, I mean, and other people other than Kat can answer this, but do you feel like more empowered by meeting in person or by having these meetings where we're kind of spread out all over the country, or both? Like, are you interested in having like local, like finding your local peace economy people in the area near you and having
Yes, yes,
in-person meetups?
in person.
Josh says yes. Um, I mean, we have, a way to identify that. We have a map of, people that are close by, and you can put yourself on the map and look. But so far, we haven't had like, except for when Jody has gone around and done her speaking tours, we haven't had specific local peace economy, local groups. They're more largely Code Pink, right? So the Code Pink local groups. But it's been something in the back of my mind about how we can like take a step outside of this particular circle, this every other week circle, and begin to meet each other in person, because I really find a lot of joy in being together with people, and I think that there's a richness to it. And so that's kind of a question I was going to bring to this, is like, how can we have like, would we have a yearly gathering somewhere? Would people come? Um, so these are just kind of questions I wanted to put out there. Mochi?
Thank you. Thank you, Kat, for mentioning these chambers of compassion. I've been working on them with the encouragement of Noam Chomsky for about almost 2 decades, on the theory and the praxis. And the chambers of compassion are in contrast with chambers of commerce. Chambers of commerce systemically bring together corporations, but we in the civil society, various formations that we have, or if we are individual actors, we are systemically fragmented. So, for example, if the peace economy people, or people who would be interested in the peace economy in the Youngstown Warren area, that would be the Chamber of Compassion would be a place where they go and they talk to other people, the climate change people, healthcare people, women's rights, human rights, democracy. Right now, issue of misinformation and disinformation in the era of artificial intelligence. So when we come together systemically across various causes and create local places, so that the civil society of each area becomes not, we don't want to reduce the diversity to unity. It's not about uniting. It's about preserving the diversity, yet create. Cats maybe distracted the heck out of me. So anyhow, if the Chambers of Compassion, which I've been, Noam Chomsky is an endorser, and Erica Chenoweth, the 3.5% lady, the one who did a lot of research and found out that nonviolent resistance is more successful than violent uprisings. And she quantified the critical mass.
And
So
it's much less than you think, like you were saying 3.5%.
we actually have more than 3.5%, except we are systemically fragmented. And the trick is to bring them together in such a way that one issue does not dominate other issues, so that we can work together. I've sent it in the chat.
Yes, yeah, and
Thank you.
do anybody that's here put things that are important to you in the chat. If you don't feel comfortable speaking on camera, that's fine. Put things in the chat. I harvest the chat after every call, and And so we keep that information and we take it seriously. So anything that you want to put in the chat is really helpful as well. Tell me while people are ruminating about other ideas. I've also I have a background in throwing online courses and webinars. I've done it for a bunch of different people, and I, I've been here for 6 months, right? I started in November, and so in the back of my mind, I was going to sort of sit for a year and watch and learn from everybody, and this call is part of that learning process. And I've been mulling the idea of potentially creating or trying to create a webinar like a weekend long or 4 days long or one day for every weekend for over a month where we would gather together people. And it wouldn't just be like people talking at you, it would also be gatherings of people that we would connect you with other people around the country in groups, and we would have peer-to-peer teaching and learning. And I wondered if people have an appetite for that. And if people wanted to say, you can say it in the chat or say yes or no. I don't know what the topic necessarily would be, but it would be obviously informed by local peace economies, ideals, and activism. But that's something I've been mulling over and thinking about. Anyone else have an idea that they'd like to put forth? Do you like having outside speakers come to these meetings and talk for 15 or 20 minutes? It often to me feels like it's not quite enough. But now that we've pushed the breakout rooms back a little bit and then we allow them to just continue until people leave, we feel like that there's maybe a little more space. Do people like having speakers, or would you prefer to connect more intimately with just this community?
Marie, I like the idea of speakers. I always find them to be inspiring, and I leave these meetings feeling really good. And I think COVID kind of put us in this, or at least speaking for myself and maybe for others, we got out of practice of connecting with other people just in simple ways on a daily basis. And so often I find that after these meetings, there's this warmth that goes with me that I feel like I can share with, anybody that I might encounter let's say the next day. So I really like the idea of, but one drawback I've seen is that the hour just seems to fly, and then, don't see you again for a month. So if you could do something like what you're describing, I think it could be really beneficial to me to have time to do that peer-to-peer work where we're thinking through ideas and maybe helping each other with problems that we've encountered in trying to establish local peace economies. And then I also think it's really helpful to have, and I don't know if it's Chambers of Compassion or some other kind of local gathering is or if you could help us this list connect with other people. It was also mentioned, via map, so that we could find others in our local, in our neighborhoods or our communities, that we could start to put some of these ideas that we learn about in these meetings into practice. So that's a long wish list, but there it is.
No, it's very helpful, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Lynn, you have your hand up?
I was putting it in the chat. I just I want to talk more about the Body, Mind, Spirit Expos. They were happening in every city worldwide. I call them healing bases that our kids should have gone to and learned about. massive. I just put it in. There's comedy therapies. I mean, there's art, music, singing, dance. The multicultural healing arts of every culture are incredible. Their foods, their ceremonies, their, it can go along with the interfaith hand-to-hand schools that you can look up. They have those. They're thwarting them. I mean, interfaith, all these different, warring factions over these overlords have got to be stopped. And it's all thought forms. If no one's thinking about war, there is none. And if everyone's thinking about soul purpose jobs, soul therapies that they cut us off from, direct contact with source, our guidance is within. Whoever's angry, upset as a human, your answers are inside of you. There's no reason for war on this planet. Age of Aquarius is communication. It's about harmony, harmony, harmony. And I put in there communityheartandsoul.org, soul purpose caring jobs for everyone, because everyone, that's their God-given inalienable right. When you pledge allegiance to the flag, one nation under God, that's the God within each person that's divine and creative. It's always good for them and other heart and soul humans, or Mother Earth, that's good for heart and soul humans, and has been totally almost wiped out of us. I mean, with abuses and wars and chakras broken, and we can't come to, it's really hard. So anyway, that's after 9/11, they started just slamming all body, mind, spirit expos. I mean, I used to be part of them in the 1990s. And after I quit nursing because I couldn't give handfuls of drugs to people anymore, and I got fined, and I mean, it's just been hell ever since. Or for peace, I can't believe what's happened with, I helped set up Veterans for Peace with my Army captain brother. I came in through the military, grew up inside of it, and my Army captain brother and my Marine brother did 2 combat tours. Whole different ballgame inside of Vietnam, and is so still trying to get their information to people. It's got to stop, and that's why I meant the cover up. So that's why it's really important that we work together, talk together to help change, get the Vatican nation and all churches, make them care. You care about people, you start to help them. You pay them to care. Help them find out who they are. The answers are within. Like I said, inner peace police. You help people sit, talk to them, deep breathe, help them connect to source, find out what their answers are, who they are, why they're here, get them a job. We can do that now. So anyway, thank you for helping me get this out of me. Thank you. Been killed trying to help people. I just
Thank you though for the work and for trying for so long. I mean, and yeah, and your family being in service. And so it's almost time for breakouts. It's at 8:40 and we usually go about now. Let me ask a very specific question about breakouts. So for you that aren't new, we usually do breakouts of rooms of 3. And I've often wondered if we shouldn't have rooms, especially since the breakout rooms are now open-ended. You can just stay until you want to leave. Like we just leave the room open and we don't come back to the space. Would you like to have more people in your breakout room? Or would you like it to be just 2 people? Like, how intimate do you want it? Do you want to meet more people, or do you want it to be very intimate with one other person? Or is 3 fine?
I prefer to meet more people.
More people. Okay. Anyone else feel differently?
I agree.
At least 3.
At least 3, yes.
At least 3. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put 4 in as many as I can do because it's not always even, right? So okay. I put in 4 except for 1 has 3. And yeah, so I'll talk to Jody about it, but I think that putting people in 4 from here on out will be good. And we might have them where we have even more people. Just because I really feel like, especially if you come over and over and over again, that people begin to see the same faces and it feels like you're not maybe connecting. And maybe I love getting to know people at that level and all of that. But if your goal is to meet more people that are interested in this work and want to participate in this way, that probably like you don't want to be in the same room over and over and over again with the same people every time. So, okay, I think we have 4 people in each of the rooms. Is there anything that anybody wants to say to the whole group before we go to breakouts? All right. Well, that sounds like everybody's ready for breakouts. Okay, it's been lovely having this little space here, which was much more open-ended. And I really appreciate each of you who talked and spoke up. And maybe for the like to orient yourself in the breakout groups, if you can talk about if you have other ideas that you might want to bring to Jody and I about what we can do with this space or expanding the space in specific ways, and then have somebody write to me, Marie@codepink.org, write to me your ideas so that I can then include them in the harvest of this. That would be really helpful. If you don't have other ideas and you just want to chat, that's fine too. But if you come up with ideas that you would like to share with me and Jody, that would be really great. All right, I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll just go to breakouts.